thing. Let's talk about something that many men misunderstand, what truly puts a woman off. Most men think it's about money, looks, or status thing, but psychology says otherwise. The biggest thing that turns a woman off isn't about what you have, it's about how you feel about yourself thing. The number one thing that puts women off is emotional neediness thing. When a man becomes emotionally dependent on a woman's attention to feel good about himself, he starts to lose his masculine balance. He begins to seek constant validation, asking, do you still love me? Why didn't you reply? Did I do something wrong? And over time, what began as affection turns into pressure. See, women don't fall for perfection, they fall for emotional security. When she senses that you cannot hold your own emotions, she feels unsafe, not physically, but psychologically. A man who can't stand in his own center, who needs her to feel valuable, unknowingly transfers his inner emptiness onto her. That energy suffocates attraction. Let's look deeper into why this happens. From a psychological perspective, neediness isn't about love, it's about fear. Fear of abandonment. Fear of not being enough fear that if she stops validating you, you'll lose your worth And fear always repels attraction because fear signals weakness in your inner foundation. Emotional neediness is one of the most powerful yet subtle forces that can destroy attraction, trust, and respect in any relationship. It doesn't always show up as desperation or begging for attention. Sometimes, it's hidden behind constant texting, overthinking every interaction, needing reassurance after every small disagreement, or feeling anxious when she doesn't respond immediately. At its core, emotional neediness is not about love, it's about dependence. It's when a man's emotional stability and self-worth start depending on how a woman feels about him. This dependency slowly shifts the dynamic from partnership to imbalance, where one person is giving emotional energy, and the other is taking it to fill a void within themselves. In female psychology, women are naturally drawn to stability. They may not articulate it, but emotional security is one of the deepest emotional needs they have. When a man enters her space with confidence, emotional control, and calmness, she feels safe. But when that same man begins to rely on her for emotional validation, her subconscious starts to sense instability. She starts to feel like she has to manage his emotions instead of relaxing into her own femininity. And the moment a woman starts to feel responsible for how a man feels, attraction begins to fade. It's not because she's cold or heartless, it's because her instinct wants a partner who can lead with strength, not a partner who seeks her emotional permission to feel worthy. Emotional neediness often comes from deeper psychological wounds, childhood insecurity, past rejection, or lack of self-acceptance. Many men grow up in environments where emotional validation was tied to performance or approval. So when they get into relationships, they unconsciously repeat the same pattern. They want constant feedback that they're doing things right. They look for emotional cues to feel loved, a text, a compliment, a gesture. But women can sense when that attention is coming from fear rather than genuine connection. Fear has an energy of its own. It feels heavy, clingy, and anxious. Love, on the other hand, feels light, free, and confident. A woman's attraction toward a man is not built on how much he needs her, but on how well he carries himself when he doesn't. Emotional independence means that you can stay grounded even when things are uncertain. It means you can love deeply without losing yourself. It's when you care, but you don't crumble. You give affection, but you don't beg for it in return. This kind of energy feels powerful to a woman because it reflects emotional maturity. It says, I choose you, but I don't depend on you to define me. That statement, even when not spoken aloud, is what keeps attraction alive. Neediness also creates emotional imbalance. When one person is giving emotional energy and the other is constantly taking it, the relationship becomes one-sided. Women start to feel emotionally drained, not because they dislike the person, but because they feel the weight of his emotional expectations. They begin to lose excitement and start to withdraw, not as punishment, but as self-protection. When a man feels that withdrawal, he often becomes even more desperate, trying harder to get her attention, sending more messages, explaining himself, apologizing for things he didn't even do. And in doing so, he pushes her further away. The cycle continues until both feel disconnected. From a psychological perspective, attraction is linked to polarity, Masculine energy provides direction, strength, and safety. Feminine energy responds with emotion, creativity, and nurturing, When a man becomes emotionally needy, he loses that polarity. He moves into a space of emotional dependence, which subconsciously feels like feminine energy to the woman, Two feminine energies can't sustain attraction for long because there's no emotional leadership or balance, That's why a woman often says she's lost the spark. What she's really saying is that she no longer feels emotionally safe or inspired by his energy, The solution isn't to become cold or detached. Emotional independence doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging, It means you build your inner world so solidly that no external behavior can shake your sense of self. A man who knows his purpose, values, and emotional boundaries doesn't need validation from a woman to feel significant. He enjoys her presence, but he doesn't fear her absence, He can sit in silence, handle distance, and trust the natural flow of connection, That kind of man becomes magnetic because he's operating from abundance, not scarcity. When a man stops chasing validation, he begins to attract respect. His calmness becomes his power. His self-control becomes his charisma. A woman starts to look up to him, not because he demands it, but because he embodies stability. In modern relationships, many men are losing that balance because social media and cultural conditioning teach them that attention equals affection, But real connection doesn't come from constant attention. It comes from emotional presence, A woman doesn't want a man who texts her every minute. She wants a man who texts her with intention. She doesn't need constant flattery, She needs to feel that his words come from authenticity. The essence of attraction lies in emotional polarity, not emotional dependency, A woman wants to feel that when she leans on you, you won't collapse. That when life gets messy, you can still maintain emotional clarity, That when she pulls away to process her emotions, you won't chase her in panic, This ability to hold your emotional space is what gives a man true strength. It's not about dominating her, it's about mastering yourself, Emotional neediness is like a leak in your energy. No matter how much love someone pours into you, it will never feel enough until you close that leak by learning self-validation, When you can look in the mirror and know that you are enough, even without approval, Even without her attention, you become emotionally untouchable. That kind of power doesn't just attract women, It transforms every area of your life, because when you stop seeking validation, you start living with purpose. And when you live with purpose, you don't chase love, you inspire it, Inconsistency between words and actions is one of the most powerful signals that can destroy a woman's trust, attraction, and emotional connection to a man. Female psychology is highly intuitive. Women don't just listen to what you say, they feel what you mean, They sense tone, energy, timing, and congruence. When your words and your actions don't align, it triggers a deep emotional warning within her subconscious mind. That's because inconsistency translates to instability, and instability feels unsafe. A woman may not always explain it logically, but she feels it emotionally. She begins to question what is real, what is sincere, and what is just a performance. Over time, This emotional confusion weakens her attraction and slowly erodes the bond she felt in the beginning. Thing. When a man promises things but never follows through, even in small ways, it starts to plant seeds of doubt. He might say, I'll call you tonight, but doesn't. He might say, I care about you, but then disappears for days. He might claim to be honest, but hides small details to avoid conflict. Every little mismatch between words and actions chips away at emotional security. Women are emotional processors. They store patterns in memory. So even if she forgives a broken promise once, her subconscious is already keeping score. It's not about perfection. It's about reliability. A woman feels safe with a man whose behavior is consistent, predictable, and grounded. That safety allows her to open up emotionally and stay connected. Inconsistency also signals lack of integrity. Integrity isn't just about being moral, it's about being aligned. Your thoughts, words, and actions moving in one direction. When a man says one thing and does another, it communicates emotional confusion. It tells her that his words can't be trusted, and that his intentions might not be pure. And trust, once broken, is one of the hardest things to rebuild, because when a woman no longer trusts what you say, she stops investing emotionally. She becomes guarded, distant, and starts pulling back to protect herself. She might not leave immediately, but emotionally she's already halfway gone. Consistency, on the other hand, builds emotional leadership. When your words and actions align, you project confidence and emotional maturity. You show that you are in control of yourself, that you mean what you say, and that you live by your values. This kind of alignment radiates masculine stability, something women are deeply drawn to because it makes them feel emotionally anchored. When a woman feels that your word is solid, she relaxes around you. She doesn't need to overanalyze or doubt your intentions. She begins to trust your presence and naturally becomes more affectionate, open, and loyal. One of the biggest mistakes men make is confusing charm with consistency. In the early stages of a relationship, many men rely on charm, saying the right things, giving compliments, showing excitement. But their behavior doesn't back it up. They say they want a genuine connection, but only reach out when it's convenient. They say they value honesty, but hide emotions out of fear of rejection. They say they are different, but behave like everyone else. This inconsistency creates emotional noise. A woman can feel the dissonance between what you express and what you embody. The more she feels it, the less she trusts the connection. From a psychological point of view, inconsistency triggers the same emotional circuits as betrayal. When she invests emotionally and feels that your actions don't honor your promises, it creates a subtle form of emotional pain. She starts to question her own judgment. Did I misread him? Did I believe something that wasn't true? That inner conflict often leads to emotional withdrawal. It's not the mistake itself that pushes her away, it's the repeated feeling of uncertainty. Women can handle truth, even if it's unpleasant. What they can't handle is emotional unpredictability. Inconsistency can also reflect a deeper lack of self-awareness. When a man doesn't truly know what he wants or who he is, his words will always outrun his actions. He'll promise more than he can give, agree to things he doesn't mean, or express emotions he doesn't fully understand. This kind of energy creates confusion, not only for the woman but for himself. The cure is alignment, being honest enough to only speak what you intend to live by. That honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, is more attractive than false reassurance, because a woman would rather hear the truth that hurts than believe a lie that comforts her temporarily. Consistency is not about perfection or rigidity, it's about emotional reliability. When a man consistently shows up as the same person, calm, grounded, authentic, he becomes emotionally trustworthy. She begins to see him as someone she can rely on, someone whose words carry weight. That's why small gestures matter. When you say you'll call, do it. When you promise to show up, be there. When you say you care, prove it through action. Because every small moment of reliability builds emotional credit. Every broken promise, no matter how small, withdraws from that account. When a woman experiences consistency, her nervous system relaxes. She doesn't have to stay on guard or interpret mixed signals. That calmness allows attraction to deepen. But when she constantly feels uncertainty, when she has to guess what your words really mean, her nervous system moves into defense mode. She becomes distant, detached, or even cold, not because she doesn't care, but because she's protecting herself from disappointment. That's why emotional consistency isn't optional, it's foundational. The most attractive men are not those who say everything right, but those who quietly back their words with action. Their presence feels stable, their communication feels clear, and their energy feels trustworthy. They don't overpromise, they deliver. They don't say, I'll try. They say, I'll do. They don't perform confidence, they live it. A woman's respect and affection naturally grow in the presence of this kind of man because she knows she can lean on him emotionally. So if you ever want to understand the psychology behind attraction, remember this: women don't fall in love with words. They fall in love with consistency. Words may impress her, but actions secure her heart. Every time your actions align with your promises, you reinforce her trust. Every time you keep your word, you strengthen her belief that you are emotionally dependable. And emotional dependability is the foundation upon which real